Hey, welcome back to the Alliance Tournament. I'm CCP Rise here with CCP Dolan, and in a minute I'm going to make that ad pop like popcorn because it's terrible. So we're about to see Nulli Secunda fight Surely You're Joking. Nulli Secunda, one of my favorite teams for their use of broadswords last year. No broadswords here. They've brought... Are you still laughing? Can you talk for a second?
Yeah, so they've brought a really strong team here. A lot of sacrileges with strong curse support, and with us damnation links, they're going to tank like nobody's business. On the other hand, we've got a large amount of T3s. We've got 2 Lokis, 2 Proteus, with Kerry's support, hoping to damp out, but I don't think, I think that Nulli's looking to get in close. I don't know if damps are going to do a ton to them.
The use of Proteus is kind of interesting. They can obviously control range with the Lokis, control lock range with the carries, but then where's their damage coming from? Like, they don't have missile ships. I would expect more like Tengus that could sit in the back and, you know, take advantage of all that range control. But instead, they have Proteuses, which usually want to be really close. We'll see what happens. Nulli, of course, wants to be close. The sacrileges should be ham fit. Usually, they will just try to get in close and brawl. And the rest of their team does too. And Yo's.
We see some just generic unbonus DCM coming across here. Not going to do a ton to Proteuses and Lokis. Relatively high native sensor strength, potentially more if they have ECCM fit. But we do see damps coming across on these sacrilege from these carries. And carries damps ain't nothing to rub your nose at. They can really knock your lock range down quite strongly. So what's really going to be interesting here is how these teams are going to get in each other's face. We see Nulli is just trying to approach rapidly, and they're very spread out. So they're going to try and contain Surely You're Joking against the side of the arena to prevent them from being able to really dictate range. Proteus taking damage here, both Proteus taking damage. So it looks like they've tried to come in and fight with these sacrilege. So
the sacrileges, at least a few of them, are webbed. They are being controlled by those Lokis. And I'm watching the Proteuses. I want to know if it's rails or blasters. I'm not positive. But the Proteuses are being really hesitant. They didn't go in and brawl the sacrileges right away. They sort of waited. Now they're going in closer and committing. But for a while, they just sort of let the sacrileges sit out of range. Sacrileges were able to hit stuff, but were not maybe able to hit at whatever they wanted. They probably couldn't hit the Oneros, for instance, because of the damps and their webs keeping them from going wherever they wanted. So they're shooting Proteuses for now. Of course, the Proteuses will have a pretty huge tank, and it doesn't look like they're making any significant progress against those. Yeah. Also, we have split damage coming across on 2 sacrilege. I don't know if that's a smart choice, but they just got to apply damage to whatever they can at this point. They're just something has to give here because these are 2 really strong setups. Kerry's dropping though. If they can clear off some of this E-War off the field, they potentially have a lot more room to move around. Yeah, absolutely. If they can get, I mean, the Lokis are going to provide a lot of control until they go down no matter what. But having lock range to at least control your targets definitely makes a big deal. It does look like the Surely You're Joking guys are mostly all ganged up around 1 or 2 of the sacrileges now. So yeah, that sacrileges of Tanya there is going down pretty quickly now that they're all focused on that. Same time, Proteus for Surely You're Joking taking pretty good damage as well. He's not catching reps due to a damped Oneros. Curse catching reps for some strange reason. Sacrilege drops. So that's a significant portion of their DPS. They'll probably switch over to Real Poison now as Nulli Secunda tries to clear these carries off the field. They have to get them down, although the carries under fire by Anuman is catching reps, and it's taking them a long time to kill a carries. An interesting option the Nulli team has here, I'm looking, their curse is well within range and not under a ton of pressure of the enemy Oneros. So because the Nulli curse can put pressure on the Surely You're Joking Oneros, their ability to rep is a lot lower, which means they might be able to get the Proteus down even with the Oneros still up. As the Proteus falls, you can see there in our battle feed, which helps you sort of follow what module effects are landing on each team. You can see there the neutralizer effect, of course, coming from the curse for the Nulli Secunda team. But the Proteus is, they're still getting reps here. Are they cap transferring to that Oneros? Wow, this is interesting. So the Oneros, for Surely You're Joking, has now gone into the middle of the fight. He's sitting right where the rest of the Surely You're Joking team is, the Lokis and the Proteuses. He's also right on top of the sacrileges. So he's getting neuted now by the curse, presumably, as well as the sacrileges. And we'll have to see if they switch their damage onto him or try to stay on that Proteus, because they do have the option now to do either one. With the 1 sacrilege down, this has turned into a pretty strong, they're just brawling. And if this Proteus breaks, that's a big deal. But, he's been holding at low armor for a while. Wow, there's like frig fights going on all over the place here too. I see one of the Surely You're Joking Retributions shooting at Tyrannus. It's safe to say that all this E-War, I mean, you can see the tracking disruption, the webbing, all of this is adding up and making it really difficult for all the ships.
This frigate fight might really burn Surely You're Joking. You saw there for a bit, the Onira switched reps to that carries and that Retribution and lost, potentially is going to lose the Proteus for it. Proteus has no reps on him right now. And they're also going to lose the Retribution for it.
Wow, Proteus down.
Yeah.
So yeah, right before that Proteus went down, I switched to looking at one of the Enyos, and the Proteus is actually shooting at the Enyo. I think they're having such a hard time with the tracking disruption, along with whatever other E-War the Enyos are bringing, that they felt they needed to take that support out, but that's not working for them at all. It may also be that they can't break the sacrileges, so they have to look for something else. But at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. They're losing such a huge amount of their DPS by losing that Proteus.
I think that they just put so much like pressure onto Talonkeddon and the Oniros that he just eventually broke. Like, he has limited cap, was having to rep 3 separate targets, and just lost track of his priority, took the reps off the Proteus, tried to rep the Retribution, realized the Proteus was trying to switch back, and lost the Retribution and the Proteus at the same time.
Yeah, but like you said, it's pressure. I mean, he has so little options. He's under so much strain because of the curse,
but especially. That's partially his fault. He came in right into the middle of the fight.
Yeah, that's a weird decision. It might have been because of damps. I don't know if there was any. It doesn't look like there's any damps active now, so that does seem weird.
There were damps active before, I think.
Okay. I know there were coming from the carries, obviously, but I'm not sure if there was going the other direction. Anyway, now Nulli in firm control. They killed the Oniros. They've killed one of the Retributions. All the carries are dead. So now they'll have to whittle away at what's left of the Tech 3 cruisers here. They'll finish off that Retribution first, but with all their ships able to lock and do damage and control range well enough, they should have no problem finishing this one.
Yeah, no. I really enjoyed this match. Like, it was really, really tight for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think it was really errors by the Oniros pilot that just got him. He made a few mistakes that were recoverable, but then Nulli Secunda just capitalized on all of those.
Yeah. I mean, I think both teams did a really good job, though. Like, yeah, maybe the Oniros shouldn't have come in close, but like, this was clearly a tough fight for both sides. I think it's really interesting that a Sacrilege actually was the first ship to go down, or the first core ship to go down. I don't remember what the actual first ship was, but for that to happen and then Nulli to turn around is actually pretty rare. It's the way this tournament works. A lot of time it's a matter of like who can get the first kill to start breaking setups apart and being able to have that happen and then still come back.
It was, I think, the fact that the initial damps on the Oniros, like the Oniros pilot for Nulli Secunda was able to compensate for them.
Yeah.
And get in closer, but not get caught.
Yeah. So like second Proteus about to drop for Surely You're Joking. As we said, they really have no more defense left. I mean.
And just so you know, like, as teams drop into the losers bracket, these teams that are losing T3s, it sort of potentially hampers them as they go on later in the tournament, especially the alliances that aren't very large, don't have large backup tournament teams. Because when you lose a T3 ship, you actually lose a skill when you die in that ship. So potentially makes it much more difficult for them to feel that later on in the tournament.
Yep, and of course, in EVE Online, one of the cool things about EVE is your skill points accrue over time, regardless of what you're actually doing. So they can't just like grind those skill points back right after the match. They have to actually wait for a week for them to train or whatever it is, and they may not be able to make that happen before their match next week.
Yep.
Loki going down now. 1 ship left for Surely You're Joking. I really like this match. I think this setup is really cool from Nulli. Curse is one of the most consistently powerful ships throughout the history of the tournament. It's one of the few ships that like gains in power over the course of a match. That thing of like toppling a team. Curse kind of does the opposite, where it just needs to like get late in the match till its cap pressure has worn down the opponents.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also one of the like, I feel like it's a ship that you have to fit into a setup like nicely. It's not just a ship that you can just throw in. Like you can just throw in Molluses to a setup and it's like, yeah, it's good.
Right.
But like if you throw in a curse accidentally, you've just dumped 14 points into a ship that's going to get blown up and not really provide much pressure for you.
Especially since it's actually a really hard ship to fly as well.
Yeah.
Like it has to have a really good pilot that's really good at prioritizing both neutralizers, range, and potentially tracking disruptors, depending on what you're doing with it exactly.
So we see Pel Helix's Loki just chilling out for now. Nulli Secunda also embroiled in a rather significant war in the EVE Online universe at the moment, so potentially also looting the field. Got every little bit of this counts. Man, is it just me or does this tournament sound really good this year?
Sound really good?
Yeah, I feel like, is it?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the music.
No. The music is pretty nice as well. Like I love a good wub, but like these headphones, the sound quality is so great. Like it's oh, they're by our sponsors, Razer. Like, how nice of them to supply so much Razer gear for us. And tournament viewers can actually get some Razer gear for themselves by going to forumsteveonline.com and checking out the tournament forum, entering the Pick the Winner contest. Pick the top 3 people you think. If you pick them in the right order, you enter a drawing to win a ton of excellent swag from our partners at Razer and Alienware.
That's pretty sweet. I like Razer gear quite a bit myself.
Yeah.
I like neon green, that's why. They did catch this Loki now. They're going to kill it. If you do more shameless advertising.
I actually am a fan of light up blue on my Razer gear.
Okay.
That's my theming at home.
I got a cool mechanical keyboard for work, and my team kicked me out because it was too loud. So I had to downgrade. But, you know, that's how it goes. I can be elite by myself at home with my loud keyboard.
You can just type away all day. Neighbors don't care.
I don't need to type anyway because I just solo PvP mostly.
Yeah.
Loki in half armor.
Do you feel like the feedback on F1 through F8 is really
it's
really
important.
Nice?
You got to have mechanical keys so that you can hit that F1 really comfortably and quickly whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Shift F1, get the heat right. Don't want to.
Oh, the timer. We keep not watching the timer. Match has probably been over for like half an hour. Sorry, guys. We're having so much fun around here.
All right.
See you in a minute.
We're going to throw it back. The next match coming up is Exiled Ones versus Choke Point. See you in a couple minutes.